Hello, welcome to Studio Pixel. In this video, we are going to discuss about the motion path in 3ds Max. Earlier, this motion path was known as trajectories, but from 2018, they have revamped the trajectory things and converted it to a motion path, which is, in my opinion, one of the most powerful tool right now in terms of animations are concerned in 3ds Max. So let's see how the motion path is. We can use the motion path and how it can help us in animation. Okay, so I'm going to create a very simple animation, a ball bounce animation, but we are not going to use any graph editor. We are going to use motion path for that. So let's see. It seems very silly that I'm going to talk about motion paths, because motion paths are very well known, but I will show you some very important techniques which will help you as an animator to achieve your desired result in a very short way. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just put this sphere on one side of my viewport and turn on the auto key, and I'll also reduce my time length from 100 to, let's suppose, 50. So, okay, now after turning the auto key, I'll just go to the last frame and I'll just move this ball or the sphere, as you can say. You can hit F3 to go to a shaded view, and my animation is there. But right now I want to make this ball to bounce on the floor. So what I have to do is I have to go to motion panel, and here earlier it was named as trajectory, now this one is motion path. I have to turn on the motion path, and I can use the always show motion path option, but it's not necessary. It depending on the objects I want to see the motion path. Okay, now so by default it's pretty simple, and a lot of things are already been there from the trajectory, so I'm not going to discuss about all the options, but the options which are very important and which options can save a lot of time for you. The first of all is like adding the key. So you can add the key and you can click on the motion path. Now I have to turn the wireframe on, and you can see immediately there is a key has been put over there and as well as in your timeline. So I have to go to move tool, and I'll just simply just drag it down on the ground. So see, this is really interesting that my animation has been manipulated not by my position value of my object, but the position value of the key that I am putting. So this is really interesting. Now you can have these handles over here, because by default my animation keys, the key handles are actually into auto mode. Now you have to select this key, and then you can see the tangent handles are getting activated. There are only three tangent handles. One is breaking the tangent, unifying them, and convert them to an auto mode. I cannot have all the tangent handle which we can see in the graph editor or curve editor. You can see the graph editor from here, or I would recommend you to directly go to the curve editor. Sorry, yes. So here there are a lot of other tangent handles are there. You can use stepped, you can use linear, but here there is some certain limitations, but that is not going to stop us from you know achieving our goals, because we still can achieve our goals with only these three. So first of all, you'll see that my animation handles are actually something which is connected with each other, so I need to break them up. So what I will do is I'll select that particular key and break the tangents. So what I will do is I will break and change my animation into something like this, which is an ideal uh, motion, which will create the ideal motion for a ball bounce. Now let's play this animation, and it's perfect. It's exactly like how I want. Now this is something really interesting, and rest of the two are very self-explanatory, that I want to unify this particular tangents or not. I want to move, I want to make it, convert it to an auto tangents or not. Select this, convert it to an auto tangent, and it will bounce back to the earlier stage of what we had. So this is a very interesting way to create the animation. Now in the display mode, there are certain things which might help you out. First of all, the velocity. Now you can see that this particular curve is actually showing is as a velocity, or you want to show as a gradient, which I found a little silly. But yes, sometimes when you are in a particular scene and you have a lot of different kind of animations happening in your character, like in your hand or two hands. Now if you want to distinguish between the two hands, you can convert one hand's motion path into gradient, another one's motion path into uniform. But I prefer sometimes that you can choose the object color also. You can see over here, like the object color that is that will be converted into the motion curve color. So that is also something really interesting and very convenient way to distinguish your objects or the motion paths, animated motion paths. Or you can use it as a uniform, or depending on the velocity. Now why I'm using velocity, because you can see the at the end of these two are a little bit so bluish in tone, rather than in the middle, because this is somewhere the animation is getting a little faster than the corner ones. Now if I convert them, see, you can see that how the animations are, the color has been getting changed. So I can calculate this, that whether this portion of my animation will become slow because the velocity is way less, whereas in the middle of my animation the velocity will be way higher. Now the similar things we can do in terms of the other side of my curve. Now this is something which actually helped me a lot of time to understand that what my velocity, what kind of velocity my objects are in. So whether I need to crop down the speed or crop down the space, whatever it is, I can take up that particular call. So that is sometimes really handy. Okay, so I'll just select this and convert it to a smooth one. Now rest of the things are actually the same as the earlier version of trajectory, whether I'm selecting motion. I generally don't use them, and to be to be very honest, I really don't know which actually can help you in a very certain way to make your animation smoother. But yes, you can use the trim path, or you can restrain your animation from a certain range to by trimming it. So that you can do. But which is the most powerful tool of this motion path I found is the conversion tool. And within the conversion you can get a spline conversion tool. Now one thing is definite, that I can convert this particular path into a uh, uh, spline curve. You can see this is spline curve, but I don't think that this is something which I really want to do. So what most interesting thing I found for this is the convert from option. Now you'll be thinking that are you talking about that you're converting from, I can convert a spline into the animation path? Yes, that is exactly what I'm trying to say. So what we can do is we can create a line, let's suppose like that, and Cool. Now I can convert my animation path exactly on top of this. So how we can do that? Now this is a very tricky one. This is a really tricky one. So if we convert from, and if you click on this particular line, you will see there's something happen. And if you play the animation, this is not the kind of a result that you are actually expecting. Well, there is a reason for that. The reason is this particular sample range option. Now you can see my animation was in from 0 to 50, whereas the sample range has been converted to 0 to 100. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to calculate the animation range from 0 to 100 and converting it to a from 0 to 50. I mean, that's what exactly I found. Now what you can do is you can do the exact same number of same number of frames that you are actually animating. You're just converting it to that is 50. And now what I do is you can convert from and click on that particular line. Voila, it's done. So this is exactly the movement. This is exactly the path that you are actually trying to achieve. So what will happen is that your animation curve has been converted according to the path that you have created. Now this is something really interesting, and this is I found the most powerful thing of this particular motion path options that we can have in 3ds Max. So animators, if you are not happy with the kind of animation that you are doing, you might have missing something in between, and you want a specific way to move your objects, you can set up that particular path and you just convert that motion path into this. So this is something really crazy and very fantastic. So hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you very much.